Good morning, Canvas Real Estate Miami Lakes. Here we are one more time, and I'm super duper duper excited that we've had new listings come into the office this week, and we have a great group here. And once a listing is approved, what's the next thing? We got to put the listing in the MLS. You want to start marketing those listings within 24 hours. So that means you got to get everything ready. You got to have the professional pictures, so on and so forth. Okay, so please join me as we try to input a listing. A moment ago I was saying double kudos to Daimara Aleman. She just got a listing up in West Palm Beach, so we're going to input a listing that's up in Palm Beach County, which is a little bit different than when we input a listing into the MLS of a property in Miami-Dade County. Remember the topic we were talking about last week of area codes? And I'm not talking about 305, okay, or 786. I'm talking about the areas where a property is located, because if you put the wrong area, the Board of Realtors can fine you up to $5,000 if you do not put the right area. Okay, they give you a warning, but after I think the second warning, you could incur a fine. So what is the first thing we got to do? Okay, well, we got to log into the MLS, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log in here to the MLS. By the way, do you see my screen here? You should all have on your screen a direct link to the MLS, a direct link to our tech, our proprietary technology platform. This is me. This is for recruiting, and I get a direct link to DBPR to see if you guys are legal. No, I know you are all legal, so don't worry. And a link to OneDrive, because we work with OneDrive, and a link to Zoom because we're always on Zoom meetings these days, right? So I'm going to log into the MLS first and foremost. Here's the dashboard of the MLS, right? So up here on top, it says log into the Miami Gateway. And we as realtors, we log into the Miami MLS using our license number. So that's my license number, but you're not, oh, wait a minute, 0675065. So now you know how old I am, because it starts with 067. And these days, I think licenses start with 35 or 36 or something like that. Anyway, yes. And then you plug in your password to get into the MLS. Now, as we're logging into the MLS, you're going to notice that my dashboard is a little bit different than everybody else's dashboard, okay? So we scroll down Miami Gateway. That takes us to the actual MLS. My dashboard is a little bit different because I have a secondary membership with the commercial board that you can subscribe to the commercial board for $75 more a year. But all of you, if you're in the residential board, this is the dashboard that you see, right? Okay, so let's go to Matrix, which is the MLS. That's the tool that makes the MLS run. That's the engine that makes the MLS run. Now, why am I coming here? Well, I'm coming here because I'm going to add a new listing. But before I even start adding that listing, I have to look for the property. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I have to look for the property if I have to first put it in the MLS? Well, you got to know everything about the property. And where does that start? IMAP, which is the system that we use, okay, to figure out information about a property based on public records. Now, in IMAP, you have three tabs. You have the tax search, you have the MLS search, and you have the foreclosure search. So when you're checking out a property, let's say somebody calls you and they're looking for a property, you do not go to the MLS first. You go to IMAP because you want to check to see if that property is currently listed with another realtor, okay? You want to see the history of that property. You want to see when that property was built, when the property was on the market, how many times it has sold, what the zoning is, so on and so forth. The other thing you got to watch out for is this. You got to make sure you're in the right county. If you're not sure what county the property is in, you can leave just Florida statewide. I happen to know that this particular property is in Palm Beach County. So why don't we narrow it down to Palm Beach County? But you could do it for both, okay? Great. Now, let's see here. So the property I'm going to look for is 1874 Sherwood Forest. Now, it's Sherwood Forest Boulevard. But you know what? You see that I put Boulevard reduced? I don't know if in the public records, this property is showing up, excuse me, as Sherwood Forest Boulevard spelled like this or spelled out. I don't know. Or maybe they put it BD. I don't know. So less is better. So just put, for example, Sherwood Forest. You got to play with the system a little bit. Let's see if the property comes out. There it is. That's the property that Daimara just listed. But guess what? Okay. Guess what? You see here where it says MLS listing info. When you get to IMAP, if you see MLS listing info, you need to first check to see if that property is on the MLS. Well, check it out. It was on the MLS at one point. So right now is a closed sale. They bought this property in 2019 for $275,000. If the property were on the MLS more than once, down here where you see this social media stuff, you have a little box. You would have a little box that will tell you how many times the property's been on the MLS. So if I have not approached this individual or this homeowner, I can pretty much tell the history, how many times it's been sold, how many times it's been rented. But if you see that it is currently being marketed, hello, that's a red flag. You cannot solicit a property in the MLS if it's listed by another agent. In fact, when we do postcards, that we send out postcards, we're required to do a disclaimer along the lines of, if you are already working with a realtor, please disregard this advertisement. So the same thing goes for putting a property in the MLS. In fact, the MLS will not let you list the same property twice in the MLS because another realtor might already have it. Okay, so let's go back to property tax. Why do I need the information? Let me open this up, okay, to see. You're going to need the PID number, the property identification number, which sometimes we refer to it as the folio number. You're going to need to know the complete legal address of the property. You're going to need to know all the owners of this property. You might even have to go to public records to make sure if these three people are the only owners of the property, okay? And you also need to know the legal description of the property, because when we do quality control, we need to validate the folio number or the PID number with the physical address, with the legal description to make sure it coincides, because you cannot place somebody else's property on the market for sale, especially in a condo building that has, let's say, 300 units. And let's say you listed unit number 101 and you mistakenly put unit 102 in the MLS. You could get in trouble because you don't have permission to market unit 102. You only have permission to market unit 101. So you got to be very, 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 very careful with that. And then it tells you the mortgage. It tells you the particulars, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, so on and so forth. If they've done any upgrades, like a patio roof, concrete, screen enclosure, added a pool, the schools, the zoning, etc., etc., the taxes on the property. This past year, they paid about $4,300 in taxes. It will even tell you if the taxes are delinquent. So I got my information here. Now is when I can start inputting the listing. So I go back to Matrix and I go here to add edit. Uh-oh, I logged into the wrong account, in the sense that I logged into my MLS, but this is a listing of Daimara. So now that I've explained all of this to you, sorry, I mistakenly logged in, so I'm going to log out, and then I'm going to log in to the right MLS because Daimara gave me her credentials. Don't tell anybody she did that, but I'm only doing this to use her listing as an example. So let me log out. And by the way, when you finish in the MLS, always log out of every page. So do you notice I'm logging out of the dashboard? I'm logging out of the MLS. I'm logging out of the main page to make sure it lets me log in again in the future. Or in this case, we're logging in with Florida Realtors. Hold on. In Miami, in Palm Beach County, we log in using a different source. And I'm trying to remember the source. MLS for Broward, Palm Beaches, St. Lucie Board of Realtors. Google finds everything. So the board up in Palm Beach County, because Daimara lives up there. Remember, as a realtor, you could sell properties anywhere in the state of Florida, but she's from that board up there, whereas we are from Miami Association of Realtors. But when we log in, it's the same MLS as any other MLS, okay? So let's see if it's going to let me log in. The system seems to be a little bit slow. Don't you think Daimara should have been on the phone with me today? Here it is. Members. Transfer, community, beaches, MLS. Okay, so let me see. You would think that as a manager, I would know how to do this. But hey, we learn every single day. Members, transfer, benefits. Isn't this great that I don't know how to log into the MLS up there? Why? Because, as I said, okay, about who we are, contact us, consumer website, member info. Oh, no, wait a minute. Look at this. Oh, my God. I should have put on my glasses today. Log into Dash, which I think is the dashboard for that MLS of Daimara. I'll get there. I'll get there soon, but you know how it is when you do these live classes. There it is. Okay, so look at this. Daimara logs in with her NAR ID number. Up there is different. Here, 628243. Let me double check. I put in the right number, 279628243. Got it? Okay, so, and I'm going to put her password. Down here, we log in with your Florida real estate license. Up in Palm Beach County, they log in with the number that identifies you with National Association of Realtors that you all know that it's called NERDS number, NRDS number for short. So, yeah, logged in. Now, you'll notice that pretty much the dashboards are the same. So here is her MLS resources. Actually, between us, I like that dashboard up there more than the one we have because they've divided them in categories, resources, quick links. Man, I should change boards. National quick links, Florida resources, so on and so forth. Anyway, matrix, here we are. There it is, same board, okay? So input, add, edit. So when you're going to put a new listing, you say add a new listing or select a listing. So I'm going to add a new listing. Now it's asking me what type of a listing am I going to do? I'm told that this is a single family home. So here it is, single family, and I'm ready to start adding the listing. I got to identify where the property is, the county. Remember, it's Palm Beach. How did I know that? I happen to know it's Palm Beach, but by the same token, when I logged into the the MLS, I found the property. Okay. And then you could try to find the property with the physical address, or you could try to find the property with the folio. So it might be easier to do the folio. So let's do a copy. And let's do a paste. And let's see if it finds it just like that. Ready? Search. There it is. Carlos Carrillo. Let me double check. There it is, Carlos Carrillo. So it's this property. Since you've identified this property, you click fill. And now you're ready to start inputting everything about the listing. Okay. In our office, ladies and gentlemen, we do not do coming soon. Let me repeat that. We do not do coming soon. And the reason why we don't do coming soon, the Board of Realtors is very restrictive in publishing a coming soon. And because we've had issues in the past that have resulted in potential fines up to $5,000 by the MLS, we don't do coming soon. We only do listings that are going to go active. So you got to fill out all these tabs. Location. You see everything that's in yellow? That is mandatory. Okay? Mandatory. It doesn't pull in the area, but the area up in Palm Beach is different than the area in, what do you call this? In Dade County. Dade County is very, very straightforward. So I'm going to save as incomplete for now, because I got to find the area where this property is located first and foremost. Let me show you how you find that. You go to where your name is and you go to help. And you see here in help, let me see, area maps. So we're going to find the property. Now, Dade County is in one map. Very simple. Look at this. You have Dade County. Very straightforward. Broward County, it depends where the property is. Is it in the Fort Lauderdale area, North Broward, Hollywood, South Broward? In Palm Beach, there's a Palm Beach County South, a Palm Beach County South A, South B, North Palm Beach B, and St. Lucie and Martin counties. Keep in mind that our MLS encompasses Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. Okay, so I'm going to go to Palm Beach and see if I find all of Palm Beach here. Well, this looks like Palm Beach. This is like all Chinese to me here. So we got to figure out where this property is. For the sake of this class, I'm not going to second guess, because what the dividing line is Lake Worth Road, South Palm Beach, Ocean Avenue Bridge, Lantana, so on and so forth. I'll have to go back to Daimara. Here is Palm Beach County South. So you got Atlantic Avenue, you got Boynton Beach Boulevard, you have Hillsborough Road, so on and so forth, okay? And you've got County B. Here you're at your south, Atlantic, Clintmore, Glades Road, West Palmetto Park Road. So let's say hypothetically that this property is in the vicinity of West Palmetto Park Road. You got to find, is it closer to the turnpike or to I-95, which is this right here. And whenever you find it, this 4-digit is the area. And you got to double and triple check that you're putting the property in the correct area. Okay? So again, Dade County is easier. Broward County gets a little bit complicated. Here's Broward County South. You got to figure out if the property is close to Pembroke Road, Sheridan, Sterling, so on and so forth. Is it closer to the I-75, the Turnpike, or is it closer to the airport, I-95, etc., etc., etc. But in Palm Beach and Broward, you have 4 digits as the area, as opposed to Dade County has only 2-digit areas. See? Like, for example, I know Hialeah's 3031 area. I know for a fact that part of Doral is 30. Kendall starts at 49. Homestead starts 69, 79, so on and so forth. So these are 36 square miles. So the people in Dade County have their act together, and it's very cookie cutter. Whereas Broward and Palm Beach is a little bit more complex, but it's important that you determine the actual area where the property is located. And by the way, if you're stuck, you can always call the MLS hotline. And I'm going to share with you the phone number of the MLS hotline, and they're there to help you. That's why you're paying upwards of almost $1,000 a year to belong to the board. The MLS hotline number is 305-468-7067. And you call them. Hi, I'm a realtor with Canvas Real Estate, for example. You give your license number, and I'm putting a listing in the MLS up in Palm Beach County, and I'm a little bit stuck and I cannot figure out the area where this property is located in. We have to go to Google Maps. We got to do this, got to do that. So let's go back to the actual listing. I'm back at Matrix here. Okay, so we were in add edit, right? Let's go back to add edit. And now we're going to select a listing. Check this out. I can't open this up. You'll notice she has some other listings under her name, right? And this one says I, meaning incoming listing. This is an active listing, an active listing, an active listing. This is an active listing, but it's under contract. Capiche? So we're going to go back to the one that we were doing. There it is. So let's open it up. So you could start inputting a listing in the MLS, and you could go to a meeting and save as incomplete. And I recommend you do save as incomplete every so often. So location, so geographical, remember the famous area? I have no idea, but we'll fill it in. But I have to tell you, the system will not let you submit the new listing until you have filled out every single area here. Okay, you can fill out the schools. Where do we get the schools? We go back to tax record. Okay, so Forest Hill Elementary is the elementary school, Okehili Middle School, and John I. Leonard. So Forest Hill. So let's go back to where we were, and let's see if we can find Forest Hill. Supposedly these are public schools, so they should be here. If not, you're not going to be able to put it. Forest. There it is. Forest Hills. Cool. Okay, let's go back here to the middle school. The middle school is Okehili Middle School. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Okehili. No, there's no Okehili Middle School, and for some reason you can't plug it in. Now let's see if we could find the high school. Bear with me a second. The high school is John I. Leonard. Let's go back to the senior high school, John I. Leonard. Tampoco. No, nothing here. So that's all you're going to be able to put, at least for now. Now we're going to go into general information. Notice that the yellow stuff needs to be put there. So REO, no, it's not a real estate owned. It's not a foreclosure property. List price. Let's see what she listed this property as, because I have the information in dot loop. And by the way, for us to go ahead and input and activate a listing, all the paperwork needs to be in .loop and submit for review to the office in addition to filling this out. And that's what we use to do the quality control of the property, the listing, the contract before we actually activate the listing or before we do a transaction in the accounting system. Okay, so this property is listed at $560,000. Woohoo! I should ring the bell. Daimara got a new listing at $560,000. Okay, notice how I put the price, 560,000. The exposure, where is the property facing? Let me go back to IMAP. And supposedly this is the property. So I can hone in on the map to see where the property is facing. Okay, now check this out. This would be north. This would be south. This would be east. This would be west. The fact that it's here and the street in front, so it's facing west. Now, it looks as though this might be a distressed property. Did you notice there's a hammer here? Maybe it is a distressed property. As a matter of fact, it is. Guess what? Here's the foreclosure proceeding. They were served last year in September. So they're selling the home, not as a foreclosure because the foreclosure hasn't closed, okay? They're probably selling it because there's equity in the property and they can pay off the bank and not necessarily be a short sale because, let me see. If they bought the property for $275, let's see what the mortgage is. $270, give and take. But now they're going to sell it for what? For $560,000. What does that mean? Even though they might be in a foreclosure proceeding, if they sell it in this ballpark, they can pay off the mortgage, pay off all the fees, interest rate, fines, attorney fees, so on and so forth, and still walk away with money. Okay, what style is it? It's a house R30 because it doesn't have a pool. What type of property is it? It's a single family home. We already said the property faces west. Okay, property condition, resale. It's not a pre-construction, it's not under construction, it's not new construction. HOPA, no HOPA, meaning this is not in a plus 55 community. I happen to know that because I spoke with Daimara yesterday about this. Garage, let me see if it has a garage. I don't think she mentioned that it had a garage, but let me look at the property description. Let me see if it says garage. There's no mention of a garage. Other improvements, patio roof, concrete, unfinished carport. So it has a carport, but not a garage. So I got to put here 0, no garage. You can't leave it blank. It has a driveway. I'll double check if it's a circular driveway, but you got to mark something. You'll notice that it says here, parking description, maximum 3, meaning the system will allow you to put up to 3 items from this list, but you got to go through the whole list. And based on the property, what applies. Now, lot description. I got to go back to the IMAP. It says here 0.2 acres, 8,798. So if I compare here, is less than a quarter of an acre. Okay. View. It views garden, I guess. It could be none. It could be a lake. Let's look at the map again. Where is the property located? It just faces the street. Okay. Now, I'm second guessing because I haven't gone to the property. Obviously, you as the realtor would have visited the property and know where the property is, okay? And let's see if it has another type of view. Let's put garden for now. If it's different, Daimara has to change it. It doesn't have a pool, so it would ask you. Now, you notice all these other things here? I'm going to tell you something that I tell all our agents. The information on the MLS that you find, okay, is as good as the realtor that put it on the MLS. So if you take the time to fill out everything pertinent to the home, if somebody's looking for a one-story home, corner lot with a pool that has an in-law quarter, they're going to find your property easier than they would someone that did not take the meticulous time to fill out everything else that applies or doesn't apply. Because if you just fill in what's in yellow, you're doing a disservice to your customer. We know it's not waterfront, right? Okay, so I think we've oh, wait a minute. It's a one-story home. CBS, normally I put CBS unless it's a Key West home that has siding or a mobile home. And it's got, from what I hear, ceramic tile, okay? You could put if it has wood, floors or carpeting or whatever the case may be. So I just kind of finished general information. Before I jump to remarks, I'm going to save as incomplete. Why? You know the internet can go down, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back to continue editing, and here's where you would add the pictures. When you submit the listing to the office, everything has to be filled out, and the pictures have to be in the system. So now we're going to general information. In general information, oh no, well, we did that already. Hold on, we're going to remarks. So they're putting comments about remarks. And look at this. This is great. The board up there does this. Everybody should do this. Contact information of any kind, including URLs, agent, company, third party, or seller contact information, including but not limited to phone numbers, agent or company names, email addresses, open houses, website links, bank contacts, title company contacts, HOA contacts, directive to contact listing agent or owner are not permitted in the public and supplemental remarks fields, as well as the directions field, photos, public virtual tours, videos, and public documents. This information can be entered in the broker remarks field that can only be shared between brokers and brokers. Okay, so when you do a description, you have to wow the people. Okay, and I'm going to show you a description of another listing to give you an example. So what I tend to do is I leave the remarks for last. Okay, and I always put some broker remarks that are particular to the listing, like the showing instructions, the preferred lender that we'd like them to be pre-qualified with, if at all possible. I mean, there's so many different things that you could share between broker and broker. Let's say a bonus to the broker. Let's say that the seller is willing to give a credit towards closing costs. Those things that could help you entice a broker to show your listing before you show another person's listing. Okay, so now we're going to go to rooms. This property, from what Daimara was telling me, I believe is a 3-bedroom. And why am I hesitating? I noticed that here in the public records, it says, let me see here. It doesn't say how many bedrooms. It only says it has 2 baths. So there's a glitch in the public record. There's information missing. But obviously, I didn't. Daimara went to the property and knows what the MLS basically has. And let me see here. I think it's 3 bedrooms. She sent me an email as well. Oh, no. Check it out. It has 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and I'm glad that came up. So did you notice that the public record shows 0 bedrooms, 2 baths? Okay. And then they later on added a patio roof, a concrete, a screening enclosure. So what do you do with that? Well, you're going to put 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. But in remarks, somewhere in there, you have to say per owner larger than tax roll. And we can come to this because at some point in their seller's disclosure, they should be saying, how come the property shows like this in public records, but when we physically go to the property, okay, it's showing larger? Did you do an addition? Did you do it with permits? Okay, because that's going to be a determining factor for a buyer to purchase the property. Because if the buyer is getting a loan on the property, you know what? They are going to want to know, was this done legally with permits or not? So when we get a listing, the seller has to complete a seller's property disclosure, and it's up to the seller to disclose. And then we as realtors, it's all about disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. You cannot misinform the general public, and you can only pass along information that is provided to us by the owner of the property. Okay, so that way you limit your liability. That's a great example. Okay, got that? So back to rooms 4-3. Entry level, because it's a 1-story. I understand that this property has a formal dining. Okay, but it also has an eat-in kitchen, for example. I understand that in the master bath, there's a combination tub or shower. But again, you got to go through the entire list and see what applies or doesn't apply. Now, it has a family room, okay? It has, you could have, for example, a garage apartment, a converted garage. It could have a separate guest in-law quarters. It could have a guest house. And by the way, in Palm Beach County, that is very popular, that they have a maid in-law quarters or a guest or a cottage or something of that nature. So if the property does have stuff like that, make sure you point it out, because it could be a determining factor that they're looking for in in-law quarters, so on and so forth, laundry room, family room, walk-in closet. Oh, I just saw, Daimara told me that the master has a jacuzzi. Nice. So here it is, whirlpool spa would classify as a jacuzzi. I would buy that house ASAP. Okay, before I go to additional information, what do? Save as incomplete. One more time, because I don't want to lose the information that I have thus far. Capiche? And look at this over here. Listing has been successfully updated. Really? Okay, look, I'm going to open this up. This is what the listing is looking like so far in the MLS. Notice I haven't filled this out, and I still got other things to fill out. And there's Daimara's information. Okay? And the system has already assigned an MLS number. You'll notice that her MLS number starts with an F. In Dade County, all the MLS numbers start with an A like apple. In the Fort Lauderdale board that she's a part of, the Beaches board, they call it, all the listings start with an F. If an agent belongs to the South Broward board, all the listings start with a B. So just be wary of that. And if you're in the Palm Beach board, listing starts with RX. But when you're going to search, you only search with R. Now, why do they do this like this? I have no idea, but that's the way they set up the system. So it is what it is. So I'm going to go back to edit. Remember, we're almost done here. And I think we were doing, okay, we haven't done additional information. Have we? No. First floor entry. For example, it tells, let's say the kitchen has a kitchen island, fire sprinklers, French doors, laundry tub or laundry room, split bedroom plan, volume ceilings, walk-in closets. That I do remember Daimara mentioning that it has walk-in closets, pantry, the kitchen has a pantry, she mentioned that, etc., etc. Now, equipment, it has a dishwasher, it has an electric range. Okay, so let's keep marking stuff. It has a microwave, it has a refrigerator, the oven is self-cleaning. Okay, it has a washer, it has, I know it has a dryer, but I forgot to mark dryer. And do you notice that everything is in alphabetical order? Okay, it has an electric water heater. Now notice in equipment you could put up to 14 items, and again, the more the merrier. Okay, let's see what else. Ta-da! It could be a gas range instead of an electric range. It has an ice maker. Ta-da. Maybe it has a burglar alarm. Maybe it has a water system, so on and so forth. Okay. Windows. Well, I know it has blinds and shades, but maybe it has custom-made curtains. It has other types of windows. Maybe they are hurricane impact windows, so on and so forth. Gated community, no, because this is a single-family home that has no homeowners association. Okay, exterior. Maybe it has a courtyard, exterior lighting. I know it has a fence. I'm not sure if it has a utility shed outside. I don't know if it has high impact windows and doors. I gotta check. It has a laundry facility or laundry room or whatever. It has a patio, okay? I understand that it has a screened porch. Okay, TV antenna, okay. Let's see here, subdivision. This barely applies because it's not located in an actual subdivision. Okay, so I'm gonna put, how about no subdivision park info available? Why? Because you have to put something. When it's yellow, you have to mark something. So let's say street lights. I would imagine the street has street lights, okay? Soccer field, it's got sidewalks. There's a sidewalk in front of the property. So yeah, check it out. We do have a few things that we could put here, okay? And remember, the MLS is for all types of properties. So some things could apply and some things could not apply. Central heat, okay, central cooling. It's got ceiling fans, but it might have some other stuff here. Municipal water, unless it has a well or a sewer type of a system, a septic tank. So municipal sewer. If it's an older home, when I say older, built before 1970, you got to ask the owner, what is your water and sewer system? Is it a septic tank? Is it a well? And why do I ask that? With a septic tank, they have to have it serviced at least once a year. Roof. I saw a picture of this property. Remember, we went to the public record and we went to MLS and there was a picture of the property. Okay. Let me see if it says if the property is what type of a roof it has. Look at, there's a screen enclosure. Remember we talked about that patio roof, concrete. Let me see if it describes roof. It has a built-up gravel roof. Roof type, it's a hip. If you are not sure, oh, and it's got carpeting also. I got to double check with Daimara if they upgraded and took the carpeting out. It's a little bit hard since I didn't visit the property, but it's okay. We still have time to fix it. So going back to the roof, I have to tell you a story about roof when I newly got licensed. I took a listing and it was late at night. So the following day I went to the office because we used to have to go into the office to put the listing in the MLS. We would fill out a piece of paper and there was a data entry clerk that would do this. So I put shingle because I didn't know the difference. Well, back then we used to mail to the homeowner a copy of the listing in the MLS and the listing agreement that was executed by the broker of the office making the representation, a legitimate representation. And I got a call from a very, very upset seller, insulted that I had put shingle when his property had a barrel tile roof that had just been changed, and I did not distinguish this. And I looked bad in front of the seller as though I had no experience. So please make sure you find out. And if you're not sure what type of roof, ask us, because that could be a determining factor, because a barrel tile roof probably, or a concrete roof, has more value, or a metal roof these days, than just a shingle. But this one is tar and gravel roof only because, and I'll have Daimara double check on that, that's what the public record says. Okay, so it's very important you describe the roof. Association approval, well, remember, there is no association approval. Okay, so let me see what I should put. Historic, no corporation, no lease, no restrictions, because this is a single family home. But if it's a property in a community, you need to find out. For example, we have a property in Lake Worth. There's a rental restriction for the first 18 months. Okay. Exterior features, we put some stuff here, we put some stuff here. So I think we've pretty much covered as much as we can, but Daimara's going to go back in here and confirm. So I think I finished this page for now. So what do? Save as incomplete. Now we go back into continue editing. And we got one more tab and we're done. You can literally put a listing in the MLS in about 10, 15 minutes. I'm taking a little bit longer because I'm teaching this class. So it could be cash. It could be FHA because it's a single family home. If the property is located in a condo community, 99% of condos are not FHA approved. It could be let's see here, not owner financing. It could be a VA loan for military people, and it could be conventional. So I'm giving options. If it has to be cash only, you need to mark cash only. If the owner is willing to do a lease option, lease with purchase to buy, you need to mark this. If the owner is willing to do a lease purchase, meaning they lease it for 6 months or a year and then they buy it. If the owner owns the property free and clear, you should ask the owner, are you willing to do owner financing? With less than 20% down payment, more than 20% down payment, will the owner be able to hold a second mortgage? Will the seller be willing to pay closing costs or some of the closing costs? Okay, so there's all sorts of things that you could put in terms considered to entice a realtor or a client to check out your listing. Type of association, condo, homeowners, none or other, none. In this case, it is none. Okay, now notice none of this is yellow. But again, the more information you share, the more information you're giving to the buyer or the realtor to make a decision if it's worth it or not. Now, homestead exemption, tax exemption. Let me go back to public records to see if these people in the taxes have any exemptions. It's not showing per se if they have homestead exemption on the property per se. So you need to find out from the homeowner or from public records. Now, I know for a fact that the owners live in this property. So I'm going to assume that tax reflects homestead tax exemption, but I'm going to double check with Daimara. Okay. Now, special information. Is it bank owned? You're selling as is, for example. You're going to provide a disclosure. Is this a foreclosure property? I'm going to mark foreclosure. You know why I'm going to mark foreclosure? Because from what I saw from public records, they're in foreclosure proceedings. Now, is this a handyman special? Those of you that are looking for investment properties, this is what I go. I go to special information to search if it's a handyman special that needs to be totally remodeled, not this off and not this particular property, okay? Is it institution owned, meaning a bank owns it? Do they have restrictions on pets? Is it wheelchair design? Do you know that there's realtors out there that specialize in finding homes for people with disabilities? There's a need for homes for people that have disabilities, and that could be interesting if it has a shower design for somebody that's in a wheelchair, maybe has a ramp, that sort of stuff. Are you promoting a home warranty? Is the seller offering a home warranty to the buyer to give them peace of mind that if they buy this home, the property is going to be protected for an entire year? And when are they going to take possession? Pretty much when funding and closing occurs. It's very rare that they'll give you access before closing, but by the same token, maybe the client needs post-closing, meaning the seller needs to stay in the property after closing for a short period of time to make their move. Now, this property, Daimara told me that they need to, subject to lease, quick closing, long closing. I'm going to put other. And why do I need to put other? These people, I understand, these owners need to buy a new home. Okay, so it's subject to the purchase of the new home. Meaning, if they don't find the home that they're looking for to move to, they cannot leave their property and sell. So maybe a long close would be preferred. I'm not clear on this with regards to, okay, with regards to this particular property, I have to double check with Daimara what are the circumstances here. Okay, it's not going to auction. There's no co-ownership that I'm aware of. So these are things you could fill in. And then it already plugged in her information. And it has her mobile number. If there's a co-agent, you can add the co-agent here. And at the bottom, all of this needs to be yes, 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 yes. These three things here, these four things. If not, it doesn't syndicate. What type of listing is it? I understand that it's an exclusive right to sell. It's not a variable dual rate because there's not different rates of, excuse me, it's not different rates of commission based on the sale. I know for a fact that it's not an owner agent. Daimara doesn't own this home, and it is owner occupied. And for showing, you should always try to request 24-hour notice, see broker remarks, because you could put particular remarks of the property to know when it's okay to show it. And you could put, for example, call listing agent. Or even better, you could do, where is it? Other showing instructions or showing time, which allows agents to request the showing electronically. Okay, the list date is today. And the listing expires, let me tell you in a second. I got to look at the actual listing agreement here to determine. You know what? I'm going to save as incomplete just in case. And then let's come back in again, okay? So you notice how many times is I did that, okay? It's not letting you, oh, look at this. Why does this come out in red? I put too many things. It only allows you 2. So I'm going to go funding, loan closing, other. I'm just going to leave other, okay? Save as incomplete. I'm going to come back in here. So this listing expires 6/11/2024. Ta-da! So we're going to go to June 11th, 2024. That's when the listing was signed. Okay. Now, compensation to the broker. We are going to be offering to the co-broker 2.5%. To a transaction broker, meaning a transaction broker, I would say it's 90% of brokers in the state of Florida. A transaction broker can represent both sides of the transaction, because they don't have a fiduciary duty to the seller or to the buyer. They represent the interest only of the transaction, okay? Compensation buyer's agent. These are companies or brokers that only work with one side of the transaction, buyer's broker, okay? So she's offering 2.5. And she's also offering 2.5 to non-representation. Okay, meaning brokers that don't have representation with either side, and that they are not members of our local board. Okay, now let's see here. Now we got to put the website of Daimara. Let me try to remember what her website is. Don't you think Daimara should have been on here with me? I think it's hold on, agent, okay, https://www daimarapropertysales.com, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, she could put the unbranded, branded virtual tour, and she's going to upload pictures. It says 35, but you could literally upload up to 99 pictures in a particular listing. So let's save as incomplete. Now look at how the listing is looking. Look at this. Now most of the fields are completed. Capiche? Look how nice it looks. But Daimara's going to print this and go back and make modifications before she does submit for review. Remember the remark that I put per owner larger than tax roll? I'm leaving that there because I need to discuss that with her, but she has to elaborate on the comments. So we continue editing. Before you submit to the office, you see this little button here that says validate? Oh my God, I'm missing information here, 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 and here. So when you go to each section, it's telling you, what am I missing? Remember the area, the geographical? Cool. Here in general information, what am I missing? Carport. There's one carport because there's an unfinished carport. Okay, let me see. Then in rooms, what am I missing here? Main level bedrooms, all 4. Main level bathrooms, all 3. Half a bath, none, 0. Let me see if I'm missing something else. And then financial information, this does not have an association or a membership. Up in Boca Raton and Palm Beach County, there's a lot of communities that require that you belong to the golf course or the country club. So you can buy a gorgeous condo in Boca Raton for $25,000, but you have to pay $180,000 of membership to the country club. I know I'm being a little bit facetious, but that is the reality. Pets on the premises. No, there's no pets. You don't want somebody biting a broker coming in. So save as incomplete. Continue editing. Let's validate one more time. You want to know something? This listing is ready to go. But I'm not going to press here at the bottom, submit listing. Why? Because we're not ready. Okay? I have to go back and elaborate on my comments and my broker remarks before I do a submit listing. Plus, as a manager, I have to go into our technology platform. Here it is. Then I go to quick actions. I go to .loop login. And I gotta go to that loop that Daimara sent me. Okay. In fact, it came in through the email. Oh boy, hold on. This thing is, it's giving me a code. Now it's sending me a code, 405694. 405694. For quality control. Everything has quality control. Everything. Okay. I'm in .loop, right? But I'm still going to go to my email because when you guys do submit for review, Daimara. Oh, she did some listing remarks, but leave it to Daimara. She put it in Spanish. So this is not what I'm looking for. Hold on. Our admin gets it. Here it is. When you do a submit for review, this is what we receive. Okay? In the system. So I'm going to view the loop. And we're going to do quality control of all the documents she submitted. Okay? Which the MLS printout is missing. But that's okay, because the MLS printout is this. Once she submits for review, or once she finishes, you first put the listing in the MLS, then you finish the paperwork in .loop. And you have to download, print to PDF, a copy of the MLS incoming printout. And then when we activate it in the MLS, we save a copy of the active listing in your loop. And we send you a little note, a compliance note. Your listing is live. Congratulations. So that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions? The importance of making sure that you submit for review the Canvas listing checklist, the exclusive right of sale listing agreement, the customer ID. Look at this. You could drag this. I like to put it down here. I like to put the MLS printout here. I like to put the tax records here and all these things. Modification to listing agreement, status change form, short sale addendum to exclusive right of sale. I'm not using that right now. So since I'm not using that right now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to archive these documents because it could get confusing. She has the seller's property disclosure. So I don't know if they filled this out already. No, they haven't. Look at this. You see, I can't fill it out. The seller is the one that has to fill it out. So I will make sure we can activate your listing if you don't have this already filled out. But eventually, because you see, it says here optional. It's an optional document. But I'm telling you, it's important now knowing that this property has more bedrooms and bathrooms than what the tax roll says. They need to disclose why. Coming soon. We don't do coming soon. So look what I'm doing here. Archive. Okay. So this is what she will need to submit for review. Once we put in the MLS printout in here, which I'm not going to do because we're not done with it yet. And I'm going to give you another tip. You see that this file is labeled submit to office for processing. I'm going to rename this file. Okay. And when I rename the file, I'm going to rename it listing folder. Okay. And then up here, offer for office processing. I'm going to rename this sales folder. So when the contract comes in, you have everything in one loop. You have all the documents relating to listing folder. You have all the documents relating to sales folder. And you have a folder that's called for manager to review. Maybe you want me, okay, I just saw something here that I might have put the property tax record here, but you want to know something? I'm going to drag this and replace it because that should go here. And then when you have a contract, you do that and you put it up here. She got the customer to sign a showing agreement. I guess she has a buyer. So you could create another folder. Let's add a folder. I'm going to name this folder supporting documents. Why? Because there's going to, oh, wait a minute. There's going to be a lot of documents that are going to be part of this whole transaction. So supporting documents would be something you would put here, the pre-qualification, the condo docs, the inspection report, the appraisal report. If you have to do bank statements, tax returns, everything should go in the loop. Because in dot loop, you can never, ever erase anything. All you can do is archive. Now look at this. It says here pre-listing. Right now, when the listing goes active, we have to change this to active listing. And let's say you were going to submit for review. You mark everything that you're submitting for review and you go to submit for review. You see, by separating the folder, how easy it is. Now I know that I'm going to submit the listing folder to review. Or maybe you put one of the documents you dragged and put one of the documents in for manager to review. That will trigger me to review your transaction before it goes live. If you do listing folder or sales folder, it's to set up the transaction or the listing in our accounting system. Okay, I think that's all for now. Let me stop sharing the thing. And does anybody have any questions? Preguntas? Hello? Nobody? Yala? Irelis? Diana? Please unmute and let me know if you have any questions before we log out. And Ruth was calling me, but I think Ruth was calling me by mistake. Ruth?
Hello, Marlene.
Hi, Diana. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. Did you like the class?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. Any
It was a
question?
tricky class because there was a lot of moving parts that I needed to do. And I was hoping for for Daimara to be on the line
Okay.
with us who got the listing. But Daimara's covering the floor at Arte Grand Central. And I hear there's 2 tours going on right now at the same time. So she wasn't able to log in. So I'm going to forgive her that she left me solo. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Okay.
great. I hope you all learned. We're going to save this recording. We're going to put it on the YouTube channel. I'm having problems with YouTube. They keep deleting my recording, saying that I'm sharing personal information, but I'm not, because this is part of our industry. But I think I'm going to figure out a way that we can email the class to all the agents in the office, and that way each of you could go in there on your leisure. Ruth, did you want to say something before we disconnected?
I was calling not about that, but I was calling about the Supwa Iki.
Okay, I'll call
Yeah.
you in a bit because I'm finishing this class, and I think you noticed that I'm still connected, okay?
Yes,
But
it's
give me a
okay.
bit. I have somebody here in the office that she's finishing signing up. She came in for the interview. I asked her to attend the class, and I hope you like the class, Nicole. Okay, well, you can speak up. They could hear you.
Love it. I love it.
Okay, great. So she saw us in action. Okay, everybody, I want you to have a wonderful day. Next week, we're going to have a networking event at Sanctuary Doral, the community that we represent in Doral. It's from 5:30 to 8 o'clock at night. I'm going to start promoting it this week, hopefully today. And you have to sign up Eventbrite because we are inviting all of the tenants in the building. So you can mingle with the tenants. We're going to have an art expose. In fact, the event is called the Art of Networking, because to network, that is an art. Okay. So I'll leave you there, and best of luck to you. Make sure you advertise properties. Make sure you do open houses. Make sure you call leads. Make sure you go on to listing appointments. Congratulations to, I think, Iala and Jordanka. They got another listing yesterday, and the listing that they put on the market about a week ago, they did a phenomenal open house, and they are already under contract after 25 families came to that open house, right, Iala? Iala somewhere. I guess she's multitasking. So I'll leave you for now. Have a wonderful week, and you know that we are just a phone call away. Okay? Bye-bye.